Hey friends, Alessandra here. Whether you're new to gardening or just an experienced gardener looking for something different and possibly easier than what you were doing before, Earthbox is a no-brainer. I have obviously been using them for years. You can check out all my videos from my Florida garden. I had huge amounts of Earthboxes up and running, and I have even tried the knockoffs, and they're just not the same. So today I'm going to be running you through how I reset mine. It's pretty close to what the brand recommends with a few modifications. For those of you who aren't familiar with Earthbox, it is based off of a design that a gentleman down in Florida invented years ago for environments that make it make it difficult to grow year round because of inconsistent weather or temperature or whatnot. The Earthbox, especially for areas that have water management issues, is great because no water is wasted in this system. So whether in Florida where water is in and out at various levels, or out here where I am now in Colorado where water is definitely more of a commodity you have to be mindful of using out here in the desert, it's an incredible system. And more importantly than, obviously you want to be worried about your water usage, but as a renter, I've been able to grow so many tomatoes some seasons where I literally have to bring them to work and give them out to coworkers, friends, neighbors. I mean, that's a good problem to have. And also, once you set up your earth box for the season, it's done and ready to go. And then next season, you don't have to dump the whole thing out. All you have to do is top up the Dolomite and the fertilizer that goes in it. You're good to go. So if you're looking for something simple and easy to get started with gardening, or just something different for you, definitely keep watching so you can check out how I set up the Earthbox and see how easy it is. Before we can even get into what products we're using to fill our Earthboxes, what plants we're putting in here, I want to explain to you guys really quick why the Earthbox is so amazing. As you can see here, it's currently sitting on a bunch of cinder blocks. It is not even, okay? Your Earthbox needs to be on an even surface. However you can make that happen. You can look at some of my playlists from 2022 or 2021 even, and see how I leveled them off in my yard with the big pavers. However you want to even it out is fine. Leave it on a deck, even better. But here's why you want it to be even. Can you tell what's happening here? This is the reservoir overflow. Okay, so if the water is not sitting evenly, like in this point, this back area is further back, so all the water is pooling back here, which is okay, except for maybe some of the roots that are coming through the system aren't going to get as much. But if you had to have it uneven, this is the way to do it, because this is the magic of Earthbox. See these little corners here? Okay, this is where you put your dirt that creates the wicking action in your planter. I'll show you the full setup in a second, but that's why Earthbox is so great, because you can't overwater it. Because if you put too much water in here, it's going to fill out and come out over here and, drip out. So this is kind of a go-to system for anybody who's new to gardening that I talk to, because you can't go wrong. You really cannot go wrong. So this comes with your Earthbox. This is a little plastic shelf for all intents and purposes. You just kind of push it into place, and this is that same spot we were talking about where you're going to put your potting mix, not potting soil. We want it to be able to wick up. There's very different content in a potting mix versus a potting soil blend that you get in the store. And yes, I know this is more expensive, but keep in mind, for one of the standard earth boxes, it takes me about 2 bags of potting mix. So I highly, highly recommend just starting off the bat with organic potting mix. That's good, because 2 bags in one earth box is going to last you about 8 to 10 growing seasons. As far as I'm concerned, that is well worth the cost of the organic versus non-organic. Okay, so you're going to be putting that mix into here, and then all of this is going to get filled in with your potting mix. And the water that we see here is going to wick up, and that's what's watering your plants. And as the water wicks up, your roots are going to want to grow down to get to this water level. So it creates a very healthy system. How do you water it? This tube here, you can put Earthboxes built, available kind of turnkey watering system, automatic watering system in. I have a whole video, actually several videos, about how I installed that system and a modified system on upwards of 30 boxes in my Florida garden. Or you can water with a hose, you know, whatever method works better for you. But this tube goes all the way down to the bottom and it fills in all the water you see here. So going back to why we need a level system, but because we want the water to be evenly distributed throughout the box whenever possible. A cover of your one that comes with yours, whether you're having the white one or the black one up, depending on your climate, will sit and probably go up to about here, and then this little bit will be popping out for you to access your water. So time to start filling. All right, so 1 pound of Dolomite equals about 2 cups, a little under, at least the one I measured. So 2 cups of Dolomite per Earthbox. I don't blend it down, I blend it up when we put the next layer on. Perlite's already in. So all of the potting mix is in, and you can tell that it has been soaked. I even made a mound of the mix so we can have enough potting mix ready to go once the fertilizer gets put in, because you're supposed to have a mound of fertilizer down the middle depending on what crops you're growing. If you have 2 rows of crops like I do, where we might put, you know, tomatoes in, or, you know, peppers or something, the fertilizer mound goes down the middle. Flip this open. I literally take my hand like this, go like this down the middle. Just wanted to show you guys, this is the garden lime I'm using. This is the it's all organic garden lime for the Dolomite that we put in here, and then the fertilizer that's here. Now remember, this fertilizer is going to last us the whole season, so it's going to look like a lot, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Alessandra said 3 cups of organic. And that's what I'm talking about. This is what 3 cups looks like of organic vegetable fertilizer. So we've got our mound. You can see where it's separated. Over here I put in just a sprinkling on top of the blood meal, just because I really think it makes a difference. So I'm going to put that over here, but I just wanted to show you just how much we're sprinkling in. And then the last thing I want to just point out before we cover everything up is, see right here, see here, this is dry. The water hasn't gotten over here yet. The hose didn't hit it. I try really hard to push down on this area manually and force it to kind of compress, because look how much space there is now. We want this to be well supported, especially when the covers are on it. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more potting mix on top of it to make sure our watering support does not move around and shift, because the plant's not getting watered properly. Doesn't matter what kind of fertilizer ratio you had, it's not gonna end well. Okay, almost done. All right, here is the Earthbox uncovered with its Dolomite down here, all the potting mix, organic fertilizer mound here in the middle for crops to go on either side. Everything's been soaked down and watered through. Over here is the same one with just the cover on top. You can see I have opted to have the watering tubes in the back because my hose is over there. And you can see that I've kept my Earthbox cover. I've kept the black one up because it's still a month from my last frost date. So if you are in the south, I highly recommend leaving the white one up to help reflect the heat. But out here in Colorado, I suspect I'm going to need the heat to be retained in here longer than I did back in Florida. So now you know how to set up an Earthbox in no time. Make sure to check their planting guides depending on the type of vegetables and plants you're growing. But you guys, this goes together super quickly and easily, and if you can make an assembly line, even quicker. It's going to take you longer to load up all this stuff in your cart at the store. I'll drop links down below to all of the products they use. You can order online so they can just show up at your door. But I cannot recommend Earthbox enough. It's great. You set it up once for the season and you're done. And who can complain about that? I do have the extra pieces on mine in particular for the garden supports. That's why you see the feet on here, because that's where the support is going to go should I choose to put it up. We're not there yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now I'm going to do this a couple more times. All right, everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, even while they went in, because he's done Moose is passed out on the porch, so I'm gonna go find a puppy and take a break. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, friends. Wally, Wally, what are you doing, buddy? What you doing? Yeah, I'm looking at you. Uh-huh. There's bunnies that live underneath there. So, yeah. Can only imagine what kind of droppings there are.